Well, Sasha Banks surprises no one with her mystery partner. Plus, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns leave the Ambrose Asylum empty-handed. This is the AfterBuzz TV Battleground After Show. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yeah, shake it, boys. They are really excited for this. Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming to hang out with us on AfterBuzz TV. This is the after show for WWE Battleground, and it was a great show. The Twitterverse was like licked with complimentary compliments, and people actually really liked this one. There is so much to discuss. My name is Christy Olson, and you can always hit me up at Christy Reports. We are live on YouTube. We have the live chat rolling. Please let us know what you think of the show. Give us that thumbs up. Leave a little comment. We are on iTunes and SoundCloud as well. Make sure you're giving us a 5-star rating. And when I say us, I mean me and these cutie little boys over here. Look at them. There they are. Aww. Coming to you from the Total Divas After Show, which will be starting again in October. It's the George Hermoza.
That is me. You can follow me at G Hermoza. I'm wearing my I'm a Hugger t-shirt.
Imagine that.
Feel free to give me a hug.
Okay.
All right.
Steve didn't jump at that opportunity.
I feel put upon. All right.
Oh, they're hugging. Podcasters, you are really missing
GIF.
out.
Or is it GIF?
GIF.
It's a GIF.
Or
It's a
GIF.
GIF.
There's
And
a battle line about it.
hot off of the Comic-Con stage, it is
Literally.
Mr. Steve Kaufmann.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. You guys can find me at Steve Kaufmann. That's Kaufmann. And she's not kidding. I'm like straight off the 5.
For real.
From Comic-Con. Like I left at 6 and I made it here.
Use your hot off of Comic-Con. I like that.
Don't spin on the table.
No, I mean, I'm complimenting your verb,
Thank
your
you.
verbal.
Well, I want to know if Steve talked to any WWE superstars. I know the Lucha Underground folks were there. Who did you get?
I got to speak to Pentagon Jr. He's the current Lucha Underground World Champion. And that
hey.
is, you can find
Spoiler
that on
alert, I
it.
didn't even watch it yet.
Well,
Oh, fine.
sorry. Well, you probably saw my video, so I already spoiled it for you.
No, I didn't.
But he was great. Xavier Woods got to walk by me and said, "Oh, I see you, AfterBuzz."
Oh, hey.
Also, our very own Markia McCarty got to interview both Sheamus and Paige because they were there promoting. Also, Matthew Lillard because they were there promoting WWE Scooby-Doo Adventures.
Yes.
All of that and more between AfterBuzz TV, Popcorn Talk, and Black Hollywood Live. We were all there doing Comic-Con stuff. And if I speak in circles, it's because I watched this. I watched this literally in my car driving.
The pay-per-view.
I'm kidding. I wasn't driving. It was a fellow host here who was driving me.
Well, you guys can check out all of AfterBuzz TV's Comic-Con coverage on our YouTube channels, our respective YouTube channels. And now we are going to jump right into Battleground. We're going to put up our shields, and we're going to get into Battleground. Do you like that?
Dude, I like their whatever promos were doing. Everybody had their own flag and the logos.
Mm-hmm.
I miss that. Remember back in the day in like the early '80s when they would do the promos for like the local house shows? They'd be in front of a screen. On the back of the screen, there'd be like their logos and whatnot. The Ultimate Warrior, Mr. Perfect, and everybody distinctly had their own like signature logo. And I feel like that was missing for a long time.
But they're coming back to that now.
No,
And
I feel like they're already back.
And for the belts specifically, because the new belt now has a logo on each side.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're a woman or a man. I enjoy this. I enjoy logos and branding.
Equally logoed belts. This is very important.
Or in Charlotte's case, unequally logoed.
This is true.
Because it's different logos on each side.
Well, let's talk first about the big kickoff match.
What?
We got the Usos versus Breezango. We gotta do a little
What's
dance. It's my little dance. It's my fandango dance.
Oh.
You like it?
No.
No? We're so physical
Well, then,
today.
in
People,
that
if
case,
you are
I'm
just
gonna-
listening on the podcast, I invite you to please roll up and pull this up on YouTube and check out all the action.
I'm gonna do my selfie. Because you do the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm dancing, so
And
you're
I'm
the new
the
Sultan
selfie.
of selfies?
Yeah, that's a good one. Does he call him that? Sultan of selfie? Or did
They
you just
call
come
him
up
that
with
tonight.
Yeah,
no,
he is
no, that was
he's the
Lawler's
Sultan
words
of
or something,
selfie.
I think.
I'm very happy the draft did not split up Breezango.
Yes.
Or the Usos. Because I think neither of those folks would wind up on the main roster unless they were a paired team. Where they wind up on TV all the time.
Right. Well, they are both very strong teams, and I think the fact that the Usos are in a kickoff match just shows you how strong the tag team division is right now. Agreed?
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more of it now that American Alpha's on the main roster on SmackDown. I feel like we're going to see some good matches with Usos and AA.
Well, Breezango worked fairly well together. They haven't been together too long. They have kind of a natural chemistry. People give them a lot of credit for that. And, I mean, all in all, this was a fairly entertaining match. A good way to kick off the kickoff.
I agree. It's just like I said earlier, like I told Steve, I was like, nothing really stood out. Just, it was what it was.
But I do enjoy a nice kickoff match with a lot of spots for people in the ring, get everybody excited, get everybody ready. I remember I found it on my Facebook feed before I ever even opened up the network.
Oh.
That kickoff match is serving a really good purpose of like, hey guys, a pay-per-view is happening right now. Here's a live feed of the pay-per-view happening right now. Like, you have no way of not knowing a pay-per-view is happening right now.
Okay, so that is why they continue to tell you that you have to get the network to watch it, even though you are already watching it on the network. That isn't the only way to watch.
Well, to be fair, they're looking out for those like 12 people in the whole country that are still paying DirecTV $60. They need to look after those people, because if I was one of those people, for whatever reason, I would want WWE to tell me I could be paying $9.99 a month. I don't think they tell us enough.
All right. Well, I mean, I was just wondering if like Renee feels silly that they keep making her say that all the time.
They all feel silly for that.
All right, let's jump into the main action of Battleground. We started things off with Dana Brooke and the champion Charlotte versus Sasha Banks and what was to be a mystery partner. Now, of course, Sasha and Charlotte have kind of an axe to grind, and Sasha wants her chance at the title, which she didn't get tonight. And a lot of people were wondering, would it be Bayley? Would it be Bayley? Did you guys have this like already figured out before it happened?
Yes, I thought this would be a call-up for Bayley. And JBL made it very clear that this is not a call-up for Bayley. Bayley is still the #1 contender for Asuka's NXT Women's Championship. And that this is...
Go ahead.
No,
that's not...
Well, they haven't announced it officially.
But okay, JBL did not specifically say that. He said that it was...
They called it a one-off.
Well, he said that tonight
they did
was...
say it like 3
he said it
times.
was... He said tonight was a one-off, tonight was a one-off. She wants Asuka's NXT Women's Championship. She's contending for Asuka's NXT Women's Championship. I don't actually have taping spoilers. I just know that she would be next in line for Asuka's championship. But that was the one thing I got wrong. Because I thought this would be a call-up. I honestly thought they would have drafted her right
Might be. I mean, it still might be. Like last year, we saw Charlotte, who's the other one? Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch all debut on like July 13th. Yet they still wrestled. They all wrestled at the NXT Brooklyn
But
show.
I feel like they're trying to set up new rules with this draft. That you can't just pluck people. Or you can, and you just say why. Like tomorrow night, Stephanie can come out and say, I want Bayley.
That's true.
SmackDown can have Carmella or whatever.
SmackDown already has Carmella.
Yeah.
Or
we
then,
got Carmella.
Then SmackDown can have Enzo and Cass, because that's
I
what's
would
separating
take it.
them. Yeah,
Yes.
to get them back together.
Well, I was thinking there's no way that this is going to be Bayley, and I feel like this is something that has been kind of pounded into my head, and it might be from you guys, in that Bayley can't come up until Sasha has the belt so that they can do their whole thing. And, she hasn't wrapped up what she's got going on at NXT, and I don't know where I would have gotten that from. It's not on you guys.
Probably us.
So I was just assuming, I thought there's no way. Of course, that's what they want us to think. But my money was on Naomi, to be honest with you.
I kind of went all over the place. Booker T even said Lita. I'm like, okay, that might be.
That would have been fun.
He said it on the pre-show. Obviously, she'd be a one-off. We've seen her wrestle a few times since she left in 06. But yeah, honestly, my number 1 is always going to be Bayley. And I think I even texted you. My number 2 choice was actually going to be Nikki Bella. I really thought if it wasn't going to be Bayley, it was going to be Nikki Bella, I think she just got cleared.
Yeah.
She had pictures at the Performance Center, and I was like, that kind of would make sense storyline-wise, because she was kind of like, Charlotte was like the last person that she really faced before she went on her, injury and whatnot. And obviously, I think Nikki Bella coming back, she wouldn't be a heel again. I think she'd be a babyface. Number 3, I thought it was going to be Nia Jax. I thought there was a good way to really introduce her. But obviously, my number 1 choice was, I thought then it was correct. And that pop she got, I mean, I literally jumped out. I was watching in bed. I jumped out, and I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And I literally got goosebumps. And I rarely ever tweet during a show, because I like to actually watch the show and not be on my phone every 2 seconds. I'm not trying to insult anybody that does that.
Listen, it's a chore to get him to stay off the phone for this hour while we do the show.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I said, and so for me to tweet during that show, that's how big it was. I literally I got goosebumps watching it. I was hoping that maybe I'd get my name on the scroll. To be honest with you, that's the only reason why I really did it.
Yeah. I would have been so excited.
Yeah,
I'm happy it wasn't Nikki.
It would have overshadowed Sasha, and Nikki better get a bigger.
You don't think Bayley overshadowed Sasha?
No, but Nikki wouldn't though.
That's another reason why I thought it wasn't going to be Bayley, because it did as well.
Also, speaking as someone who was expecting Bayley's call up the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania,
right?
Everyone in that arena has to know before the music hits, because of those wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men. Because you were with me at that Raw where I was watching the stage.
That's right.
Where it's like, I'm waiting for a crew guy to bring out a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
And it didn't happen. So you guys know what did happen in this match? Sasha tried to do a Hurricane Rana, and something went wrong. It looked painful for both of them.
They covered for her.
Any speculation as to what happened there?
Just a miscalculation.
It looked like a miscalculation, and then the commentators covered for her very nicely when she was like, head scissors. Because that's what it looked more like, a head scissors than a Hurricane Rana. They're like, a head scissors. She got it.
Did you guys catch all the chitty chatting that the ladies were doing?
I heard
that's my pet
little bit.
peeve.
I heard a little bit.
Dana was talking to Bayley when they were working a little bit. Sasha was then saying something to Charlotte and I'm like, come on, ladies. You know each other very well, first of all. You shouldn't have to be giving each other any cues.
Hey, you still gotta
Second
call
of all,
it.
just don't do that.
I mean, especially because they all kind of have hair. And when I say hair,
They
I mean like
do all
long
have hair.
so it's a lot easier to cover yourself in terms of,
I didn't really know where you were going with that.
Because a lot of times you can clearly see John Cena. You can't help but think, but if he had long hair, you probably wouldn't be seeing that a lot more. Yeah, but
I'm just thinking of a long-haired John Cena right now.
We don't need to bring that back.
But yeah, I mean, kudos to be. I was kind of on the WWE the Twitter page in the middle of the commercials or whatever, and there were a lot of people, tweeting Bayley, congrats, like obviously a lot of NXT people, and just like I said, kudos to her. She truly deserves it. And it's funny, even watching the draft, I'm like, all right, here's Bayley. Okay, it's gonna be Alexa Bliss. Okay, congrats. Okay, here's Carmella. Okay, it's like it was at some point. It's like, all right, they got to have something. They didn't just forget about her. And I think if this was the result of ignoring her or whatever it was and not drafting her, then I think it was fine, because it's obviously it made it that much better.
And it's a vote of confidence in her and what she still needs to do with Asuka to maintain NXT, because NXT, for lack of a better word, has kind of been, their depth has been rated.
Sure.
Or actually, their depth is fine. It's their roster's been rated at the top, that they need time with people like Shinsuke Nakamura and Asuka and Bayley and Samoa Joe to fill the top a little more, while everyone else fills in the spaces they've lost.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So you do need to keep Bayley down there. I thought they would just make her work double duty.
I think they are, because even with Kevin Owens, I mean, he was still the NXT champion, well into his main call-up, and he was even he literally wrestled at NXT Brooklyn in the main event, and then at SummerSlam in the semi-main event, I guess you can say, against Cesaro.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they don't want to put someone through that again.
Right.
And that's part of why there's a draft and there's rules, and we're splitting the roster, and everybody gets a chance.
Yes, well, one team who is not split up in the roster, to most people's joy, tag team champions and longest rating at this point.
You gotta do it right.
No, I don't do the thing. I know you do the thing, and then you have to do
the thing.
WWE Tomorrow Tag Team Champions.
I swear I can't even watch them do that, because it makes me picture you doing that, and it just ruined it for me. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm telling you. They were up against the Wyatt family, who have been disbanded in the draft. So, the New Day, they're already scared. They're saying they think the Wyatt family is going to be more dangerous than ever, because it's possibly their last time together. Did you guys think that the Wyatt family were extra dangerous in this match?
I think the Wyatt family is always very dangerous. And I've mentioned it many times that their characters are so well written that they're like Jake the Snake, in the sense they never care about winning. They want to be agents of chaos. They want to inflict punishment. They want to be the face of fear, so that they're always that dangerous. But this is the first time they've ever gone up against literal clowns. So I think that alone would make them dangerous storyline-wise. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they've been broken up, I think, is... I'm curious to see what they're doing, because there are enough Wyatts, and everyone could become a Wyatt.
That's true.
That I'm very interested. I would love to see there to be a Wyatt, like Bray Wyatt where he is, and then separately Braun Strowman forms another Wyatt they form another Wyatt family around Braun Strowman.
Ooh, I wouldn't mind that.
I want the Raw Wyatts and the SmackDown Wyatts.
Well, do you guys see a rivalry with the New Day continuing with them, or do you think that this will be the end of that?
Maybe. I mean, I'm kind of curious when Luke Harper's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, Braun Strowman is on Raw, and when Wyatt and Rowan are on SmackDown, so you put in Harper, and it'll be like Wyatt's never split up. You know, everybody.
We put in Harper, and then they keep teasing a Xavier Woods flip. Mm-hmm. So if in the next heading into SmackDown, if we get a Xavier Woods flip that causes the tag team championships to go to a tag team like American Alpha or the Vaudevillains or Enzo and Cass, like a tag team that actually needs to be tag team champions, because the New Day haven't needed to be tag team champions in a long time. Those are just props, and New Day has plenty of props.
I didn't see the turn. I just feel like he was just phased by the Wyatts. Like, here is the Wyatts, and obviously Xavier is kind of the smaller of the group, and he's easily manipulated by that, maniacal, influential Wyatt family. I don't know. It wasn't to me like a Daniel Bryan thing where he kind of, I just saw that Woods was like the weaker of the bunch, and we really saw him, unleash his fire, and rightfully so. Obviously, we saw glimpses of how good he can be weeks ago against AJ Styles. Now we saw how good he can be again against, kind of lashing out at Bray Wyatt, the guy who was manipulating him, and even like the top rope walk into the elbow. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, he broke out of his trance and like whooped Bray's butt.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit.
So I think that was
for a little while.
Now that New Day's on Raw and Wyatt's on SmackDown, obviously it's like the end of the feud. So I feel like they at least needed to look strong, and I thought New Day did look strong because at the end of the day they're still the champions, and who knows, maybe I don't know what's next for them. Maybe Enzo and Cass at Brooklyn. I don't know. We'll see.
But that answer is very tightly hinged on what we find out tomorrow about the tag belts, the new cruiserweight belt, and then the women's belt. Mm-hmm. I would imagine the women's belt wouldn't be exclusive to one brand, but if you said that the tag belts were, if you said the tag belts were exclusive to Raw, and that the World Championship was exclusive to SmackDown, that would almost be fair. Or if SmackDown had more, or if SmackDown had less belts but the World Championship, and then Raw had more belts but not the World Championship.
Mm-hmm. I hate the idea that some people on the roster don't have the opportunity for the belt.
I agree. It's one of those where it's like I'm not even gonna try to even guess, because obviously whatever we know, they're probably gonna be with the complete opposite and be like, oh, that's why we know all and you know nothing. So yeah, it's just one of those where it's like I can't even predict. I'm just gonna have to wait and see. I'm not even gonna try to guess, because ideally I think we all wanted, at least for the world title, to be on both brands, maybe like a old school territory kind of thing, where without the champion, the champion being on your territory, you build up somebody for the champ like it was in the old school days, and then once your champ maybe beats that guy, he goes to another territory. So I thought that was going to be same thing with the tag teams. If you really think about it, it should be equivalent to the World Championship, because this is the best tag team in the world, not the U.S., not the Intercontinental, the best tag team. Same thing in the women's. But again, we thought we know everything, but I'm just going to wait and see.
The second we say it, they'll do the opposite.
Yeah.
So totally make two belts, guys. That's what you should do. You should make two belts.
I really hope they don't make two belts.
Exactly. Totally do that. Make two belts.
At least if they do, I hope they don't hand it to somebody. Because they would so hand it to Seth Rollins.
That is true. That is true. Well, the Wyatt family was victorious in that matchup. And speaking of titles, guys, next up was our U.S. champ Rusev with Lana versus Zack Ryder.
You have to roll your R. Rusev.
I can't do that. I have to go like this.
Just Rusev.
And I can't. No, I can't. I can't do it.
Rusev
I can go Rusev. Is that almost as good?
I guess. It must be a Latin thing.
That's
Rusev.
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, if you couldn't do it, I would be concerned. Yes. Well, something else that was a little concerning. I was like, are Lana and Rusev missing their wedding? Why is Lana dressed up like a bride? And my theory is that she had sort of like a hair and makeup test run today, because their first wedding is this coming Friday.
Really?
And that she just couldn't get the tiara out of her hair, so she just went with it.
Probably.
There was no other explanation, so that's what I'm going with.
Do we know where the wedding is?
Is this the
is
US
it an
wedding
East Coast
or
wedding?
This is the U.S. This is the Total Divas one.
Oh, okay.
But all the
is it-
celebs are going to be at. It's somewhere here.
really?
Like,
Wait, really?
Yeah, somewhere near L.A., I believe.
Okay, because I'm saying because they were in Washington D.C., so it would make sense if she was like, if it was an East Coast wedding, she'd be doing fittings all day today,
Yeah.
and then just kind of roll up. But I don't know. I guess if it's a Total Divas wedding, there's a stylist who's just bi-coastal.
It's with them, yeah. They're
There's
traveling.
just a bi-coastal stylist who has a fabric person in every city.
Well, she did look fabulous,
I
but
think
it was never explained.
I think early on when Rusev and Lana first debuted, and don't get me wrong, like everybody's hot. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I don't know. I never thought Lana was all that. Maybe it was just hold on. Maybe it was like the suit and the hair up.
Yeah.
But like ever since she was dating Dolph Ziggler, like I don't know, like she is becoming like the hottest diva there. And I love Maurice, but Lana slowly but surely like she's getting up there.
Becky Lynch all day, son.
Oh, you, that's so sweet. Aw.
That's
Well, it didn't really matter what she was wearing. She didn't offer up any distractions or anything on this match tonight. It was pretty clean. Zack Ryder went off the barricade at one point. Rusev counters with an elbow drop. Eventually, Zack Ryder taps out and Rusev wins.
Not surprised by this finish. I at some point I thought they were maybe it crossed my mind that they were gonna do like a double switch in terms of like Zack Ryder winning and the U.S. belt being on SmackDown and
I thought that as
Darren
well.
Young winning and the Intercontinental being on Raw. But I was like, I think it's too soon for Darren Young. I think it's too soon for Rusev to slow down his momentum. So that I went with. I thought Rusev.
Here's my problem with the way they build up Rusev.
Okay.
Is they make him unstoppable. Because it should work when you're like Bray Wyatt, where the wins and losses don't matter. Mm-hmm. With Rusev, the wins and losses definitely still matter, like as they should to a certain extent. But like with Rusev, it's like if Zack Ryder beat Rusev tonight, like he'd literally have to start at 0 tomorrow. I call it the Ryback effect.
Don't bring up Ryback. Too soon.
You know what I mean? That like, hey, he was on the draft board up until the draft was over. Like if you went on their fantasy draft, Ryback was there.
Was he there? I didn't even notice that.
That like up until
Probably
that
better.
day.
It would have given me hope.
I didn't notice him. Somebody's.
Oh, we have a call.
Oh, we have a call. We have a caller on the line, folks. I wonder if it is our usually trusty engineer, James Frank, the Jimbo Slice.
Jimbo in the house.
It is Jimbo. Jimbo,
Hi.
would you like to, before we ask your thoughts on tonight's pay-per-view, will you please explain to all the good people at home why you are not here?
Okay, so there are gnarly fires by my house,
Right.
and it's literally just getting closer and closer. And like, I think they started on Friday, and they've been shutting off like freeway exits and on ramps closer and closer to where I live. And I just moved, so like,
Of course.
I'm like, oh man, like please don't come burn down my new office that I just set up all my wrestling memorabilia in, because that would be awful.
You do have some cool stuff
Speaking
in
of
there.
wrestling memorabilia, I see you have, is that a Billy Kidman on the desk? And that new Shockmaster exclusive there?
Close. This is Paul London.
You were really close
wow.
with Billy Kidman. But this is the Comic-Con exclusive Shockmaster. This is the one I'm going to keep. I have 2 that I'm selling on eBay. Because that's how you pay for the one.
Oh,
How much were they?
you
They were
boys
30.
and your toys. Well, James, we were just talking about the Rusev Zack Ryder match. But I don't think there's like a whole lot to say. I don't know. Thoughts?
I thought it was okay. Ryder definitely got his flurry in at the end and got a lot of cool stuff in. I thought it was funny because like when it ended and Mojo Rawley came out and slid in the ring and Rusev did nothing but just stare at him awkwardly, it reminded me of when like WWF bought WCW and like The Rock was in the ring and Booker T got in the ring and The Rock just looked at him like, who the hell are you? Like Rusev did nothing. Mojo just stood there and did nothing, and it was like, well, like, were we supposed to take him seriously, like as a threat? Like what was the point of that? And all he did was like he kept yelling something like, come at me, or like, I'm right here, or like, let's do, I dare you. That's what he said. He's like, I dare you.
I don't speak
dare
Rowley. That's a completely different language, Mojo Rawley. I don't speak that language. Of this most recent draft, Mojo Rawley is the one where I'm like, I hope
scratching your head.
I hope they use him right, and I hope he's ready.
Well, were any of you guys expecting to see him tonight in this kind of a way? It was a good intro
as soon
for
as he
him.
started, as soon as Rusev started attacking Zack Ryder, I was like, Mojo's gonna come out, but I didn't see the point because Rusev's on Raw and Mojo's on SmackDown. I just didn't see the point of like, you know, I mean, as soon as I saw him getting attacked, I was like, all right, that's cool. I'm sure they're gonna at least. I don't know if they're gonna be a tag team now. The Hype Brothers, Mojo and Zack Ryder.
I would love that.
Even though I really want to see Zack Ryder just shine as a singles guy, and I feel like he's almost there. But they're really good as a tag team too.
Yeah, I feel like they're not going to give Zack Ryder the chance he deserves. Like, I think what they did tonight and what they did at WrestleMania and what they've done in between is what they think giving Zack Ryder a chance is. Which is you just keep putting him in losing situations. Even when he wins a title, like you put him in a losing situation where The Miz beats him the next night. Where it's like in their minds they're like, well, we put him on TV. He should get over. Where it's like, well, you should put him in a position where people see him as a legitimate contender. So if you put him up against Rusev, who can't lose, you lose your chance to actually do that. But I think, if that said, I think he'd have a lot more success within their system as the Hype Bros. Especially with, they're really trying to make tag team wrestling work.
See, that's true.
I have a question for James. Who was his?
He had the Hype Bro shirt on.
I have a question. Who was your prediction for Sasha Banks' partner?
I said Nia Jax.
Ooh.
That was my number 3.
That was my guess. Because I thought she swore it wasn't going to be Bayley. Like, I thought she said in like interviews and other things
She
that it
did,
definitely
yeah.
wasn't going to be Bayley.
Yeah, she definitely did.
And I was with Christy, with everybody from like the NXT after show being like, I don't see why they would bring her up now. They're waiting till SummerSlam. He's definitely not going to be there. Like,
Not gonna happen.
I had that putting brainwashed in my head. So I was like, oh, he's definitely not going to be there.
Oh, I love how we influence each other's thoughts. And now I cannot wait to hear all of your guys' thoughts on the match that, let's just say it stole the show tonight.
Yes.
Agreed?
Yeah.
Sami Zayn
Definitely.
versus Kevin Owens, another grudge match between the former BFFs, which I was starting to think maybe we don't need to see another one. Oh, we needed to see this tonight.
I really like that how much they back off on this. That like we're probably not going to see it at SummerSlam. We're probably not going to see it again. Like they're probably going to cross paths at the Rumble, and we might see them cross paths in a Survivor Series match. Like they really know how to back off on this because they know this is only special if it happens like 4 times a year, and that it never gets resolved. They never shake hands.
And we're never going to forget about it either.
It's Peter Griffin and the Giant Chicken.
Oh, God.
They just keep fighting. They just keep fighting and just keep one-upping and one-upping and one-upping. It's perfect. These two should never stop fighting.
Yeah, because they're going to fight, and then they won't fight, and then they'll end up being like tag champs.
Yep.
And then they'll have to split them up, so they'll fight again.
It's Raven,
And then
Tommy
they won't
Dreamer.
fight. It'll be that ongoing feud forever.
And rightfully
That
so.
like,
I mean,
love-hate relationship.
and I've said it before, where sometimes you just have these two guys that just naturally fit, are naturally enemies. Brett and Shawn, Rock and Hunter, Austin and Rock, or just so many guys. Hogan, Savage, Steamboat Flair. Just one of those where it's like one time is just not enough. And there are a few matches where it's like I just want to see it one time and I'm good. But this isn't one of those. And this is just something where these guys just fit. As far as like enemies.
Yeah.
And even to the point where at some point, if you see them team up, if they're BFFs again, like it's still going to make sense because they still have that history. That history is never going to go away. So
And they're going to be fun to watch as a team. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they wound up on the same side of a Survivor Series thing. Well, I would imagine Survivor Series this year would be SmackDown vs. Raw.
I think I doubt it, or maybe.
Yeah, I was
maybe.
thinking the same thing.
I highly doubt I'll see Sami Zayn as a heel. I think he's too goody two shoes, which isn't a bad thing.
No,
I'm
not at all.
I'm not dissing at all.
He gave Owens a pretty gnarly brain buster on the apron.
But
Oh
at
my
some point, I do
gosh.
see Kevin Owens
That was
becoming a
insane.
babyface.
Yeah, right? Was that crazy or what? Was that the craziest moment
was
of
awesome.
the night? Just
That was the move I saw him beat Roderick Strong with at my first ever PWG show. Was a brainbuster on the ring apron.
oh wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. So like seeing him do they did a lot of apron things tonight because somebody else got like a back suplex on the apron.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man.
Also, Sami Zayn did a pretty like inside thing that maybe only I noticed, that when he tried to do the flip and then he hit his shoulder on the apron, speaking of the apron, the only way I knew that was a work was that he immediately started selling his shoulder and sold his shoulder and arm for the rest of the match. Whereas like no, he planned to do a botch. Like that's
you think so?
Or he planned to make it look like he was gonna do like a moonsault off the top rope onto the floor,
right? And
then he hit his shoulder on the apron instead. Like he planned that because that was like a crucial point of the rest of the match. But I
couldn't decide.
But he knows how some people, myself included, watch a match and watch a spot like that where they're like, oh, he's legit hurt. That like there's something there for that. It's pretty impressive.
Okay. Well, since this was the match of the evening, gentlemen, I'm going to give you a chance to add anything else you'd like to add. Otherwise, we do have to move on.
I mean, I'm kind of curious where they're going to go from here, just because obviously since Sami Zayn has come up to the main roster, and obviously even before then, I mean, they've been on opposite sides, whether it's a ladder match, whether it's a four-way for the Intercontinental Championship, whether it's the Money in the Bank, they've been on opposite sides. So I'm kind of curious, where does each guy go from here? I think we had on the pre-show Cesaro kind of talk about this match a lot, and speaking of Cesaro, like I mean, like he said he kind of continued on what he was saying from the Draft Central show about like I don't know why I'm here. Like it kind of pissing me off, Renee, that you're asking me questions because I shouldn't be on the panel. I should be in there. So I'm kind of curious. Maybe we're seeing a little bit of an edge to Cesaro if that's the case, and maybe Sami Zayn versus Cesaro at SummerSlam.
Who cares?
Please. Well, no. Well, that's what he's like raging against.
If you think if you like this match, then you're gonna like Sami Zayn versus Cesaro.
Yes.
All right, I'll wait for it.
And I'll wait for it. If you need a glimpse of it, watch the first match from the first ever NXT Live special because that match is amazing. Not as good as their 2 out of 3 Falls match from 3 years ago.
James?
I think Cesaro and Zayn could have the same chemistry that Owens and Zayn do with like that forever going feud that just happens and happens. But their feud, instead of being like, I hate you, I'm better than you, it'd be like, well, I can do this better than you, but I can do this better than you, but I can do this better than you, kind of thing. But in this match, I think some of my favorite spots were definitely when Zayn went for the DDT through the turnbuckles on the outside and he got super kicked in the face. And then when he was like still in that position and he got hit with a cannonball, I was like, oh, that was vicious. It was definitely good. I loved all the half and half suplexes and the pop-up powerbomb and then the foot barely getting on the ropes was just like, I was like, I think they thought they were closer than they were because he went to just like lay it up there and it didn't fall on there and he was like, oh shit, I gotta touch it. I'm touching the rope. My foot is touching the rope.
I mean, these guys know each other very, very well. And two other opponents tonight who have known each other since one of them was 17 years old. Next up, we have Natalya versus Becky Lynch. We all remember Natty attacked Becky after the Money in the Bank match and set this one up for us. I'm going to go ahead and say this was not the most exciting match of the evening. I love the ladies, but
I love these ladies very much. And this match was not bad by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
I mean, don't jump on Chris yet. For it to not to be, I don't think it was the most exciting match because Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens was the most exciting match of the year. You know what I mean? So for it to be the second or third or fourth exciting match of the night is not a bad thing. Yeah. With that said, I think JBL said it best, where it was just a textbook wrestling lesson. You had Natty come in, she's the heel, she worked on the body part and she worked on the body part, and rightfully so. That should be what most wrestling is, to be honest with you, psychology-wise. Like you work on the body part and you get into it, you put on your submission hold. Maybe you can't get it, but maybe it's going to work the second time. That's exactly. I mean, it was textbook pro wrestling 101 for me. And I
definitely thought seeing an aggressive Natty was the best. She hit an awesome FTO at some point. And my favorite part, she had her in a submission, and she was like, "My cat is better than you."
I didn't catch that.
And I thought that was great. But Christy, have you seen any of the Comic-Con panel footage that Becky Lynch just totally laid it all out there about the women's division and how they deserve storylines and they can go with the lads, that she said?
Oh, no. Did she get sassy?
What room did Becky Lynch was at Comic-Con? I was also at Comic-Con. How did this not happen?
She was there one of the early days, I believe.
I was also there
one of the at the Mattel panel with New Day, AJ,
then
her.
That would have been Thursday. I was doing a lot of press rooms Thursday. I didn't know she was there.
It's online. I'll send you the link.
Please.
I will
yes, please do. All right, everybody check out
totally,
what Becky had to
just
say.
let it all out there and was just like, This
See,
is how
I
I
could
feel
get
about
on board
women's
with a
wrestling.
sassier
By the way,
Becky
what
Lynch.
was that question? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Becky Lynch a lot. I've been on record this time last year when they called her up alongside everyone else, and I said she's the one you need to put the belt on.
Ah, you love her so much.
I just saying but she's also the one most likely to get caught in the shuffle or to get lost in the shuffle, and they've pretty much given her Bayley's storyline. Bayley's storyline in NXT is that she keeps trusting and trusting and trusting, and then people keep betraying her, and then she's ultimately gonna learn and become better. So then what's Bayley's story going to be when she comes up?
Oh, we shall see.
I think we're just going to be her be herself. I think Alexa Bliss is a great addition to the thing. I think she should come back as a baby face. I think a lot of girls are going to love the whole tutu glitter thing that she kind of did with in the beginning of her NXT run.
I'd be on board with that.
I don't think Carmella's going to do well, though.
No? Oh, jeez. I'm rooting for you, girl.
I am, too. I just don't
Someone
think
else
she's gonna
I'm
do it.
rooting for, Mr. Darren Young, along with Bob Backlund. Tonight he was up against The Miz, Intercontinental Champion The Miz, with Maurice. This one was for the title. However, we all kind of knew that it was too soon for Darren to get the title. And Miz and Maurice came out wearing masks, no capes. So I guess they're not full-on superheroes because they don't wear masks and capes at the same time. I don't know. They both look great.
It was supposed to be like eyes wide shut.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Cute. I mean, it was cute.
like
cute.
that they're such celebrities. They're just into that kind of weird stuff
weird
that
crap.
us normies wouldn't understand.
By
the way,
be
Miz,
part of the Illuminati.
Yes. By the way, Miz, you can start calling people normies. You have my permission. That's a perfect word.
Well, his beautiful wife really put herself to work in this match. She caused a little distraction, and then she got a little dramatic and pretended that Bob Backlund had done something to her. It ultimately ends up with Miz and Bob Backlund being face to face. They told a great story in this match, don't you guys think?
Yeah, I like the story that they're trying to tell with Darren Young, and I might be missing it a little. Darren Young's a face, and then Bob Backlund's a heel.
Who said Bob Backlund's a heel?
I don't know, like Bob Backlund. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I'm hoping that's what they're doing. I don't know.
James, what do you think?
I think Bob Backlund's just crazy.
I find that
As good an explanation as any.
I will say this. I feel
the
like
thing that I did not like, and I don't know if you guys could back me up, but at the end, Darren Young put him in the Cobra Clutch, not the chicken wing. Correct?
no, he put him in the chicken wing.
No. That's not the chicken wing goes behind the back, right?
Yeah, you hook the arm and then with the
the chicken wing is one arm around the neck, and then the other where you just like wrap the arm. Our podcast listeners loving this demonstration.
I wasn't a big fan.
I'm pretty sure he put him in the Cobra Clutch, not the crossface chicken wing.
We'll watch it back if anybody wants to put up a picture. But I wasn't a big fan of that. I thought the storyline was okay. I thought the finish was just weird. I don't know. Like, I thought it just kind of it was a weird sequence. Like it was just like here you have Bob Backlund and Miz, like they shove each other, but then like Darren Young attacks Miz. It's like, well, he's attacking the guy who his opponent is. Why are you calling for the bell?
The bell thing I thought was weird. The bell timing was
and that
odd.
was confusing too.
I think Darren Young was gonna win the match. I didn't think he was gonna win the title. I thought he was just gonna win by like DQ or like Miz was gonna walk out or something. But I didn't think he was gonna come out the champion.
I'm not a huge fan of how they're debuting this repackaged Darren Young, in the sense that he only got like one clean win, and it was in a tag match since he's debuted, and everything else has just kind of been he's looked weak.
Like, I know even afterwards he was looking at his hands, like back in the day when Bob
what
Backlund
was
used to do
that?
it. Because Bob Backlund did that when after he turned heel on Bret Hart. And then he just looked at his hands like, oh my God, like this is what I did. This is what I can do. And I saw Darren Young do that same thing. It's like, I don't know. It just felt forced.
Yeah, there's something unnatural about the two
with
of
someone
them.
like Darren Young, who you really don't like. This seems like a lot of sizzle for Darren Young, who's already a pretty good steak.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that.
Remember Darren Young
I like it. Well,
hitting the gym, by the way.
Oh, yeah, he
Yes.
looks great. He looks great. And I'm sorry, guys, we have to kind of
Please.
steamroll through these because we're running out of time. Next up, we had John Cena with Enzo and Cass versus The Club. This one starts off with a classic Enzo. God, I love this guy so much.
No, you love Enzo, don't you?
I love him. I mean, I really love Cass.
And I love how you love Enzo. Like, you love Enzo.
I just think he's fun.
Yeah, I like how you know that he'd be like a good time to party with.
Oh, heck yeah.
Not that you're a party animal. I'm just saying. I mean, yeah. But yeah, just you know that he's just like he can just go out there. He'd be the life of the party. You know, he
would take tequila shots with me.
I mean, so would I. But whatever.
I think Enzo would.
I think Big Cass would too.
We would not eat bananas, however.
Yeah, his shtick was, and I like that Big Cass like recognized, like, dude, isn't this guy awesome? Like, it's totally like, I feel like that wasn't even in the script. I'm like, dude, this guy, I didn't know how good this guy was. Like, this guy really is cool.
Yeah, Cena was giving him props.
I enjoyed how compelling this pairing was, because it is another six-man tag match. Mm-hmm. But like, I didn't until I saw like one of the Twitters that talks about like the facts. The facts, they were like, this is the first time there's been a pay-per-view card since 2012 that's had 2 6-man tag matches in it. Oh. But it was something I didn't notice because I was like, no, I'm actually really excited to see the club go up against, you know, like this pairing that would otherwise feel like a house show match or like a dark match. Mm-hmm. But this, like, they gave it the time to build, and we know that Cena AJ Styles is the future, and that we know that the club is kind of being broken up.
Yes, because they have been drafted to separate franchises.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Finn Balor is on Raw, though. I mean, maybe they got bigger plans. I mean, obviously we see...
do you think that has something to do with it?
Gallows and Anderson, they're still together. I mean, they came in together. It's not like... And AJ ended up joining them. It's not like they were completely split up. I mean, they just released a new shirt, goddammit.
No. Gallows and Anderson aren't broken up.
Sorry.
Add Amber.
I'm sorry?
Gallows and Anderson aren't broken up.
Yeah.
They're broken up. AJ Styles is away from them. Mm-hmm. I'm weary of Finn Balor being paired with them. Why? Only because they'll tell the same story. Because Finn Balor can't be a heel. Finn Balor can't debut as a heel after being picked 5th overall. Like that's an underdog story or like.
Right.
So I'm agree with you just because they don't have enough faces on Raw.
James?
I thought that they would lose tonight, and then the club would beat up AJ, and Finn would come out and help, and then they would all leave for Raw. Like Finn, Gallows, and Anderson would leave for Raw, leaving AJ.
They hop in the minivan,
but he could go to SmackDown as a babyface, and then Finn as a heel. Yeah. And then the club is still strong, even though they lost. And I was watching the pay-per-view with friends, and they were like, "Why is the club losing?" Like. When the NWO came in, if they would have lost like their first couple matches, like people would have been like, "What the hell? Like, why do we care about that?"
But the NWO didn't come in the time of this 50-50 booking, where you have to win one, lose one, kind of stuff. Like as much as I dislike it, sometimes it's just the reality of the product that the wins and losses do and don't matter. If that makes any sense, that you have to kind of keep track.
That's right.
Where it's like you have to win one, you have to lose one. It's 50-50 booking. You got to go out there, so nobody looks too strong.
That's right.
And by the way, I feel bad real quick. I did used to wear Crocs. But go on.
Aw, sad. Well, one guy who hasn't had a win or a loss in over 9 months is one Randy Orton, excuse me, who has been out with an injury. I chatted with him at Hall of Fame, and he didn't seem like he was in too hurry to get back. He's finally back. He made a real cute little quip about Brock Lesnar and how he doesn't need any enhancements. And then, of course, we got the RKO out of nowhere, which we were expecting.
I didn't think I would enjoy this segment as much as I did.
It was good, right?
It was a good segment. It was a pretty tight segment.
Yeah.
It was exactly what it was. It's just we haven't seen Randy Orton in a while. Jericho's gonna talk to him about it.
And he looked good too.
Randy Orton looked.
I've always been a big Randy Orton fan. A lot of people are always down on him, saying he's boring. I think he's probably the best guy there.
I think he gets complacent quickly. Like I see that like the Randy Orton we saw tonight. If we kept seeing him at week in week out, people wouldn't have that boring complaint. I think like Randy Orton deals with his frustrations differently than a lot of others. Like what Randy Orton tends to do is just kind of phone it in, for lack of a better word, and then like that's what you like. But when he really delivers, he delivers. Like that Seth Rollins match 2 WrestleManias ago. Like he can deliver, he can go. And they also and Jericho made a very fine point that we've never seen Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar one-on-one.
It's almost unbelievable, but it's never happened.
SmackDown.
Okay. Thank you.
Like early, like 2002, like early Randy Orton.
But it is truthful that it's a rare pair.
But even so, it's not the first time it happened. This is a completely different Randy Orton. 2002 Randy Orton is different than 2016 Randy Orton.
Completely different Brock
Even
Lesnar
2002
too.
Brock Lesnar is similar, but the Brock Lesnar now, this is the straight conqueror. The former multiple-time world champion, just the destruction of worlds Brock Lesnar. So,
by the way, I didn't see the SmackDown show, and I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have had time to do it. But I'm sure you heard the Paul Heyman rumor.
No, actually, my rumor was going to be about Randy Orton possibly becoming part-time, is what they're saying.
I would buy that. But have you heard that Paul Heyman's contract is expired?
Yeah, and that they're just leaving it and no one's making a deal, and I have heard this.
That he's probably really expensive.
I mean, I believe that, and you know what? He's got plenty of other stuff going on. I don't think he cares. He's got those he's got that whole roster of models. Like he gives a crap.
He'll be back.
All right, guys, we have got to talk about Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns in a triple threat match for the WWE title, and this, of course, will be the former Shield's last time in the ring together, as they have been drafted to separate shows. What did we think of this match? Go.
This was everything I expected of a Shield triple threat. Just including the package before to really settle you in of like these guys did something no faction ever did. Just any faction, let alone the fact they were a debuting faction. Like they took over the place, and then they took over the place, came to the top, and then they all stayed at the top.
And one of them got incredible, massive boos tonight.
Well,
but he's still on top.
I mean,
we were expecting that, though, right?
I think the build-up kind of lacked something, to be honest with you. I always thought of this as like a WrestleMania kind of main event. Obviously, it didn't help that one of the guys in the match wasn't around for a good 28 to 30 days. But with that said, I mean, the match itself was amazing. I feel that the right person won. I think he probably needed the most momentum. Obviously, we've seen both Roman and Seth be multiple-time world champions, main event WrestleMania, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel like Dean Ambrose needed it the most, and I feel like he was also the right person to win.
Yeah, and I think he's also the right person as world champion to carry SmackDown. Because he's the right person to fit what SmackDown should be, whereas Raw is kind of a circus. And what I'm hoping they're doing with the Cesaro stuff is that Cesaro is like the personnel problem on Raw, where it's like Cesaro just isn't happy. He doesn't want to be here. How do we get him on SmackDown? And then it becomes a thing where they trade or they make a trade on Snapchat or something.
I think they're done with the picks. Like I feel like they put so much emphasis on the draft that it's like, well, we're not gonna like they would have mentioned like a trade here or there. I mean, we might see maybe like in 6 months. I'm sure I heard somewhere it might be like a yearly thing, which I'm not really a big fan of. I wish it was like every 2 years. I think it just really emphasized just how separate they are. But I'm kind of curious like who's next for Dean Ambrose. I feel like I think we all agree maybe John Cena versus AJ Styles might be next at SummerSlam.
John Cena, AJ Styles,
So
SummerSlam. That's where your money is.
What do you think, James?
I think we'll definitely see Owens and Zayn at SummerSlam.
Again?
John Cena, AJ Styles at SummerSlam. Probably my favorite thing in this match was the whole like three-way. Like I think Reigns hit a Superman punch, Rollins hit like an enziguri, Ambrose went back and hit the clothesline. That was awesome. And then like at one point, Ambrose did his standing elbow drop off the top. And, like, falling out of the sky came Rollins with what I thought was a frog splash.
Yeah.
Who knows? But the wide shot on that would have been amazing. I don't know why they didn't go for, like, the super wide.
I got to know
but
you, too.
Even in the replay, they just showed him, like, fall out of the sky. It was crazy.
Crazy is the Ambrose
As
asylum.
I was saying earlier about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, which I'm kind of interested in why you think that's going to be at SummerSlam, even though they emphasized they were going to face each other anytime soon. I could be wrong. But I want to see this kind of match like more than one time. You know, why can't we see a triple threat match of these three guys, you know, a lot more times, the same way we see a lot of one-on-one matches a lot of tag team matches a lot. Why not have this triple threat match kind of be the next triple threat match of the future?
Because I don't like triple threat matches.
That's true. That's somewhat. I don't know, because we saw two straight triple threat matches main event at WrestleMania. But triple threat match with a Shield, like I feel like this can still be a WrestleMania main event.
But not if you do it at SummerSlam. Not if you have the rematch at SummerSlam. Like you gotta back off. You have to have it now, and then you have to not have it again till WrestleMania.
Yeah, they can't have it now. Like,
yeah.
They should do a round robin challenge where like they each face each other at SummerSlam in separate matches.
Ooh, I
like
like
Rollins
that.
faces Ambrose faces Reigns, and then Ambrose faces Rollins, so on and so forth.
But that all depends.
Like the old school Ring of Honor show.
I would love that. But that all depends on what they decide to do tomorrow when it comes to the World Championships.
Well, we will all definitely be watching. Guys, do you have anything else you'd like to add? We are out of time.
No,
but
just
I'm gonna
start
give it to
wrapping,
you.
so we have like 10 minutes left.
That's incorrect. I just want to briefly mention with that's a lengthy discussion, but with Roman Reigns violating a wellness policy, I've never gotten a chance to say it. The wellness policy means like so many things.
Correct.
Most of which doesn't necessarily mean PEDs. Mm-hmm. That said, if I were Roman Reigns, I wouldn't. That's nobody's business. Other than that, I failed a wellness.
It was rumored to be amphetamines that he tested for.
That, or I heard he hits the bottle.
Hornswoggle had said that he
Really?
failed the wellness policy by not taking a piss test.
Yeah.
That you only have a certain amount of time
Right, of course.
to take the test, and if you can't produce, then you fail.
And that happened to that didn't happen to Brock Lesnar, but there's talk that what happened to Brock Lesnar was an
Don't even get me
inhaler.
started with Brock Lesnar.
There's a lot that's a whole other podcast with the Brock Lesnar stuff, but it seems to be
James' house
happening.
is burning down. Meanwhile, we just keep talking.
Roman
James, are
Reigns-
you okay over there?
I'm good.
Good.
Follow me on Twitter at the Jimbo Slice, TheeJambosL. Whatever, you know. I'll be in there
They know
Monday.
that-
Hopefully, as long as I can get to work, I will be there tomorrow.
All right. Well, stay safe. Thank you for calling in. It was nice to chat with you. We will let you go. Adios.
Thank you. Buy my documentary
Oh,
at
yes.
highspots.com.
Yes, get the Young Bucks 2 Sweet Journey at highspots.com. It is a good one. Or I have a copy. I'll borrow it for you. No. Go buy it. Gentlemen, if everybody wants to hit you guys up, where would they do that at?
You guys can find me on Twitter almost exclusively at Steve Kaufmann. That is KAUFMANN. I have a lot of playlists that I'm going to tweet about starting tomorrow from all my time at San Diego Comic-Con. Also, my improv team, the show that shall not be named, is playing, I believe, 5 shows this week starting tomorrow night. I will be tweeting a photo of all of them, so I won't bore you with them here.
You can follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, on Snapchat. I'm going to put some more stuff on my eBay store, Hermoza, GHERMOZA. Some cool stuff, some cool sports stuff, probably some more wrestling magazines, some PWIs, etc., etc. Steve's probably going to sell one of his Shockmaster toys that he got at Comic-Con, so look for that.
Awesome. Well, you guys can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Christy Reports. Please also download the Fight TV app and check out West Coast Wrestling Connection, where you see me doing some backstage interviews. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Christy Reports. There are some juicy new reality TV interviews, which I'm sure you guys love that too. Thank you guys for coming to hang out with me. All of y'all for tuning in. We will be here for the Raw and SmackDown after shows this week. Check it out. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.